everyone, welcome back to a new video. I'm currently helping my dad bed up corrals because it's about minus 13 degrees Celsius. It's November 6th today. And although we didn't get a lot of snow, it is rather cold and we did get some. So it's really important that we bed up the corrals. I don't know what the machine is called that my dad uses. I'm not the machine savvy person on the farm. I'm much more animal savvy, like I've said before. But yeah, basically he's got a bale shredder that is towed by the tractor, and then he will drive into the corral and just kind of shred up that bale and make a nice pack for the cows to lay in. This is the steer pen right now. So bedding up these packs is actually a great way to sort of assess the herd and make sure that everybody is doing okay. Doing these jobs is typically when you see if somebody's limping or if they need a little extra help. So bedding up these guys is important so that they can stay warm when they lay down. If they're gonna lay down in the mud, because right now the ground isn't frozen, so if you were to lay down in the mud in minus 13 degrees Celsius, that's pretty stinking cold. So we have to bed up these guys a couple times in a row, like for the first snowfall, just so that they don't pack the straw into the mud. These guys were bedded up yesterday, but it's basically already all mud. So there's nowhere dry for them to lay. And if we continue to leave them in this condition, pneumonia will quickly start to take hold of some of the animals, and we don't want that. We want them to be warm and comfortable and dry, so we give them a good straw pack to lay on. So that's my dad working with the machine right now. He's facing that way with the thing. Whenever it's facing this way towards me, I always try to turn my back to the machine just because I don't want to get hit with a rock on the off chance that there is a rock in a bale or something. So you can see there, it's nice and golden and dry, where otherwise it would look a lot more like this and wouldn't be so comfortable to lay in. So nice warm straw bed. Just waiting on Dad to bring the bale. And this girl, always super curious, but always trying to escape when we open the gate. So she makes things kind of a pain in the butt to work with. Because every time you open the gate for anything like chasing out other cows or bedding up, like we're about to do, she tries to escape. So it's like a double thing that you have to watch out for. back inside the barn. Thankfully, I'm gonna show you guys quick what I wear when I have to go out and do chores like that outside. Just to give you guys an idea of how much it takes to stay warm. And this is what I wear typically throughout like -15 to -50. So Celsius, I'll try to put the conversions of Fahrenheit somewhere on the screen here. But yeah, first off, I start off with some insulated gloves, because the worst thing when you're working outside and it's in the minus is when you get cold phalanges. That goes for toes as well. Following the theme of phalanges, I have very thick soled boots. Compared to my summer boots, the sole is a lot thinner. The thicker the sole, the farther your feet are off of the frozen ground, which means that there is less proximity of your feet to the ice and the cold snow. So typically they'll stay warmer that way. Then I usually wear 2 pairs of socks, one normal and then one thermal pair over top. This is a thick insulated jacket that I'm wearing right now. And then underneath that jacket, I have thermal layer, a long sleeve. I have another thermal layer under the thermal layer. This is an insulated pair of overalls, and then I usually wear a thermal pair of leggings and sweatpants over top of that. And my secret weapon of choice to keep my fingers warm and the rest of me warm are hot hands. These are a godsend when it's super cold out and your fingers are freezing. They just help so much. I typically have 1 or 2 in my pockets during the morning milkings as well in the wintertime. They're just really nice to keep your hands warm and toasty. And sometimes I'll stick a pair in my boots at the end where my toes are so that they stay warm there as well. So yeah, and obviously a toque and sometimes a scarf. It wasn't too cold today, so I opted to not wear a scarf. But yeah, the things we do here in Saskatchewan to keep warm. After that initial footage, I'm currently milking cows. We've got some nice waterproof sleeves. The only thing I don't like about these is the Velcro. Sometimes it's kind of pokey and itchy, but for the most part, it keeps my arms nice and dry, which is perfect for in the colder weather. It's about -15 degrees Celsius right now. It was like -22 degrees this morning, so warmed up a bit, but otherwise we got thrown into the deep freeze pretty aggressively. So I finished milking, everybody's fed. Some of them are complaining about not getting grain. Even Cowboy's getting his meal in. He's so playful. And then there's a group of girls. So I actually got some results back already for the herd testing that I did almost a week ago. All of the CAE tests came back negative, as well as Yoni's. I'm just waiting on the CL tests. Those, I guess, take a little bit longer to test for, so might be a few weeks before I hear about that yet. And I had these 2 ladies tested, and they came back as open for pregnancy. So I'm not too sure what the plan is now, because that's the second time they've been in with this buck. So I might end up pulling those two out of the pen and putting them in with this group pen. And then I'm going to watch for their heat cycling to maybe see if I can't see them get bred, and then potentially figure out that way if they can be bred or not. Otherwise, I will have to sell them, Maple and Cupid, because I unfortunately just do not have the room to keep them if they're not gonna produce. I'm trying to create a business. They can't all be pets. So my goal here is to try and get all of these does bred and to have babies and to start working on my own lines of goats. What I would really like to do is potentially sell them to a pet home, because they really are very sweet. They don't have horns because they've been dehorned. And they honestly, they love human attention. And like Cupid, she'll come up and lean on me just for scratches. Like, she's a super sweet goat. And they're actually the first two goats that I got last year. They were my first two purchases of boer goats. So it is a potentially unfortunate situation for me, but if somebody is interested in having two really sweet pet goats, you can email me. My email is in the description box below. I live in Saskatchewan, Canada, so if you're close by and you're interested in having two really sweet pet goats, shoot me an email. I did pay pedigreed price for them, but obviously if I'm going to sell them as pets, then I will be selling them cheaper than what I bought them for, so it will be a loss all the way around for me, but maybe somebody can gain some really sweet pet goats. That said, I am going to be putting them in the doe pen tomorrow because I'm here all day tomorrow, so I can monitor them and check in. Because I don't like putting new goats together overnight and then just leaving them alone for like 10 hours until I come back. That just, you know, is a recipe for disaster, because if something happens, then I'm not there right away to help out. So I'm going to be putting them in with this doe pen where I can monitor for heats and see if somebody does come into heat, then I know they're not pregnant. And if they're not pregnant for sure, because the blood test only works if they're 30 days or more pregnant. So he still could have bred them, you know, like a week before, and they could still, you know, carry a pregnancy from that. So I'm going to put them in with the doe pen. I'm going to see if they come into heat, and if they do, then I will more than likely sell them. If that's the case, whoever has emailed me and seems like a good candidate for a good pet home for them, then they will go to a nice pet home. But yeah, I am trying to run a successful business, and in order to run a successful business, unfortunately, you cannot keep them all. I have like 7 does in this pen and they're all younger and haven't been bred yet, obviously, except for Shine. But that's a goat that I know can have babies. Kamaraska over here is a goat that I know can have babies, as well as Payette. I actually saw her get bred 2 days ago, so I'm really excited about that, because that means I have like an official, unofficial due date for her, because of course she might not take and she might have another heat again. So she will also be put into the doe pen tomorrow so that I can feed her a good amount of ration and grain. Because the thing is with feeding does and bucks ration, the does can handle the ration, but sometimes if you give bucks grain, they can develop urinary calculi, which is basically bladder stones, and bucks have a really small urethra as it is. So if they do end up getting bladder stones and it starts to pass through there, sometimes it can cause a blockage and the bladder can actually rupture. So it's really highly recommended that you not feed bucks grain. So when I have does and bucks in the pen together like this, I don't give any of them grain. I'll pull the does out separately sometimes and give them a bit of grain. But ultimately, I know that Payette has been bred, so I'm taking her out of the pen with the buck and putting her in the doe pen where she can have more grain and more nutrients in order to grow those embryos so that she can grow big, healthy babies. So that's another update on the goats. I hope you guys are enjoying all of the goat content, because that's apparently what most of the channel is turning into. But yeah, I think that's where I will end this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please like and subscribe and share with a friend. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.